What's up everybody, welcome to the ESTNN Weekly Brief. Here is your rundown for all of the esports news from the past week up until today, March 27th. In league news, playoffs are imminent in both the LEC and the LCS this week. Over in the LEC, we've got Fnatic, Vitality, Splice, and SK facing off this weekend to see who continues on to the quarterfinals. And in the NA, we have FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, TSM, and Echo Fox duking it out on Saturday and Sunday. In other news, Cloud9 played their Academy team in their match against Clutch Gaming on Sunday after the main roster locked up the second seed on Saturday. Believe it or not, C9 Academy absolutely stomped Clutch in a little under 30 minutes. While we won't see Cloud9 this weekend, we're set for a fantastic spring split playoffs, especially with Liquid looking vulnerable lately. Patch 9.7 is coming, and project lead Richard Maple Nectar Henkel gave the community some ideas of what they should expect when it hits. Leading the changes are some nerfs to Lissandra, Kayle, Morgana, as well as buffs to Garen, Skarner, and Dr. Mundo. In Dota 2 news, watch statistics are in for the most recent Dream League Major, and it turns out that people really like to watch Dota. I know, big surprise. According to the Esports Observer, fans watched over 10 million hours of the tournament, and this boost lifted Dota 2 to the top of the Twitch charts. In other Dota 2 news, the popular mod Auto Chess looks to be adding 2 new heroes. You can read all about it here, but our writers think both Zeus and the newly released hero Mars may be coming to Auto Chess. We've also got patch notes for patch 7.21D, and while you can read all about the changes here, long story short is that Valve has adjusted Rod of Ados, Aeon Disc, Guardian Greaves, and Solar Crest in a variety of ways, and some new items have been receiving buffs and nerfs, and we also saw a large variety of buffs and nerfs across the board for heroes. In Overwatch news, Batiste is finally live on official servers as of last week. You can read about his abilities and his playstyles up on the screen or over at ESTNN, and I will be doing a video on his abilities and some of his implications since we will be seeing him in Stage 2 of the Overwatch League, but just know to watch out for that amplification matrix when he drops it. We've also got some PTR news. Blizzard has buffed both Reaper and Junkrat in the current PTR patch. For Reaper, players can now use Shadow Step while in the air, and upon coming out of the new location, he will become completely invisible. This gives him about half a second to completely materialize when he's done teleporting, and it stops you from telegraphing to the rest of the enemy team where exactly you're going to be and gives you a chance to survive and not get jumped on or stunned. So Shadow Step is now kind of more a serious, powerful offensive tool. I'm kind of excited to see what it can do. Junkrat is receiving some changes on the PTR, and these changes revolve mainly around the way his frag launcher works, specifically the speed at which the projectiles move and how quickly that they explode. Now they're kind of known for just bouncing around a million times and randomly exploding. If they by happen chance hit an enemy or get some splash damage, then it's a win. But this will allow Junkrat to be a more precise hero and allow him to do more than just spam grenades into a small hallway. And don't think that we forgot about the Stage 1 playoffs. That's right, we got the highlights up on the screen, but Vancouver outplayed the Shock in a 4-3 shootout that left every fan impressed at the Titans' level of play. For an expansion team, they came into the league, went undefeated in Stage 1, and they have proved that just because you are a new expansion team doesn't mean you have to be bad. While they were, already a big team in Contenders Korea, it's still amazing to see them step up to this higher level of play. Everyone here at ESTNN is looking forward to see if they can continue their form moving into Stage 2. Now, speaking of Stage 2, the first games are going to kick off next week on April 4th with the Philadelphia Fusion taking on the New York Excelsior, the Boston Uprising facing off against the Atlanta Reign, and the Shanghai Dragons stepping up to the Los Angeles Gladiators. And in a battle of the expansion teams, we will see the Guangzhou Charge facing off against the Paris Eternal. Now in CSGO news, there's some weird stuff going on in Counter-Strike. Both inside and outside of the game. To start, we recently got to see how the economy changes would affect the pro level of play at the Blast Pro Series Sao Paulo this weekend. Astralis won, no surprise, and the teams were rarely put on eco, and each game became a slugfest. It's still too soon to see how large of a factor the economic adjustment is, especially since Blast Pro Series has such an odd but refreshing format. Look to both ECS and the ESL Pro League for a better picture on how it will all play out. Now, on the roster side of things, Rogue has announced that they will no longer field the team in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. The move comes after months of having players poached and then having to rebuild their team. The Spencer Hiko Martin-led team took to a tweet longer to explain the decision. Also on the roster front, Cloud9 has decided to trial ex-Ghost Gaming player Daniel Weiss Kim. For all the Cloud9 fans out there, we think this could be a great young addition to the roster, and whether he will continue on with Cloud9 after Blast Pro Series Miami remains to be unseen, but at least fans will get to see him into action. In Fortnite news, Epic has continued its trend of adding insane stuff to Fortnite, and now data miners have found that we might get an explosive bolt bow weapon. Now you can think less cool Robin Hood and more Nerf bow from the way it looks, but hey, I'm still excited to see this introduced in. The data miners didn't find any stats, but it looks like it'll be a legendary in the terms of the rarity. Now, officially, V8.20 has also added some other new items. Players can now forage for bananas that restore health, peppers that regen health and give a speed boost, and coconuts that replenish your shields around Fortnite's map. 8.20 has also added a new limited time mode, The Floor is Lava, wherein the game gradually fills with lava, forcing players to think strategically about building and looting. There's a bunch of balance and gameplay fixes coming in this patch, so make sure to check in on all that stuff over on the Epic website, and we'll have some updates on ESTNN as well. Now that we've talked about a company that's doing something right and fixing their game, let's talk about Apex Legends and Respawn. Holy crap, basically just broke. Now, I know, they released the Battle Pass, they got a lot of flack for that, people weren't excited, there wasn't a lot of good content. Not only on that, there are, people are getting no hit registry, which means that when you shoot someone and you hit someone, the bullets don't always count and they don't always do the damage, which is annoying, especially if you're using a gun like a sniper, if you're using a Kraber, if you're using a longbow, or if you're like me and you use a wingman. It's just kind of awful and terrible to play about. The pros are really upset by this, and also the slow-mo game. For the love of God, I don't understand why, when this game has been out for a month, we're dropping into maps and still running half or even a quarter of the speed that you normally would, making the game impossible to play. Partner that with crashes and constant lag out and dropping and crappy people in general, and Apex is looking to be in a pretty bad spot right now. I released a video talking about what Apex needs to get ahead in the Battle Royale genre, and I think that they really need to focus on performance issues as well as some of the other, content issues that they have, like I addressed in the video. But make sure to go check that out. That's all for the ESTNN Weekly Brief for Wednesday, March 27th. Make sure to head over to ESTNN.com, catch up on all the latest news, and check back here next week for another episode of The Brief. See you guys later.